Recent tensions in the Middle East are once again raising concerns about a possible confrontation between the United States and Iran. A message circulating online claims that Iran is not an ordinary battlefield and warns American soldiers about the challenges they could face if a ground conflict ever begins. This message references Iran's military experience and its connections with armed groups across the region, including groups in Palestine, Lebanon, Iraq, and Yemen. But how accurate are these claims? And what would actually happen if a ground war between the United States and Iran ever took place? In this video, we will break down the military reality, the regional alliances, and the possible consequences of such a conflict. Iran does not rely only on traditional military power like tanks and fighter jets. Instead, Iran's strategy is largely based on what military experts call asymmetric warfare. This includes proxy groups in different countries, missile and drone technology, naval tactics in the Persian Gulf, mountain and urban warfare, and even cyber warfare. Iran has spent decades preparing for a defensive ground war rather than an offensive invasion. The country's geography also plays a major role. Iran is full of mountains, deserts, and large cities, making any invasion extremely difficult. Military analysts often believe that invading Iran would be far more difficult than previous wars in Iraq or Afghanistan. Iran also has influence across the Middle East through allied groups and militias. These groups operate in several countries across the region. If a large war started, the conflict would likely not stay inside Iran. Instead, it could spread across multiple countries and regions at the same time. This means U.S. forces and their allies could face pressure from multiple directions, not just one battlefield. This is one of the reasons why many experts say a war with Iran would be very different from previous Middle East conflicts. A ground war with Iran would be extremely complex for several reasons. Iran has a very large population and military reserve forces. The terrain favors defenders rather than invading armies. Iran has spent years building underground bases, missile systems, and defensive positions. Urban warfare in large cities would also be very difficult and dangerous for any invading army. Many military experts say that winning a war against Iran from the air is possible, but controlling the country on the ground would be extremely difficult. This is why most analysts believe that if a conflict ever happens, it would likely involve airstrikes, naval conflict, cyber attacks, proxy conflicts, and limited operations instead of a full ground invasion. Another important factor is the global impact. A war between the United States and Iran would not only affect the Middle East. It could impact global oil prices, shipping routes, the world economy, international alliances, and regional stability. One of the most important locations near Iran is the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important oil shipping routes in the world. If that route was blocked or attacked, oil prices could rise dramatically and affect economies around the world. This is why many countries are watching the situation very carefully. In the end, a war between the United States and Iran would be extremely dangerous and unpredictable. Both sides have strong military capabilities, and any conflict could quickly spread across the region. For now, most experts believe that political negotiations, diplomacy, and economic pressure will continue instead of a full-scale war. But tensions remain high, and the world continues to watch closely. The biggest question now is whether diplomacy will succeed, or whether the region will move closer to another major conflict. Only time will tell.